Some people think you're a pussy for carrying pepper spray. Some people think it's just for the ladies. I'm here to tell you pepper spray is for everyone. Everyone should have it readily available. This is my 3 stories or 2 stories in pepper spray and the one story that why you should have pepper spray. What's happening? I'm Bernardo with Fatbear DC, and this is palm pepper spray. They did send me out this stuff to take a look, but I thought it'd be a great chance to tell you these 3 stories and why I think everyone should carry some sort of pepper spray or have it readily available. So I have a story about deterrent, how pepper spray, just having it, can deter people. The second, how I've seen pepper spray be used and how any random experience sometimes can need it. And the third one is a story of when I think a buddy of mine wished he had some pepper spray. So the first one, the deterrent. A couple years ago, I had a small business with a buddy of mine. We had a used car lot out in San Diego. If you're familiar with California or anything in Southern California, it is beautiful. The weather's nice. We own this. We had this lot with that we shared with 2 other businesses. It was like a radiator shop and an upholstery shop. We're very friendly with them. Kind of collaborated on different things. And our lot was a little bit together, right? It was a little bit mixed. We had a car lot on one side, then guys would pull up for the radiator shop, and then the upholstery shop right next door. So we had a lot of people coming and going and mingling. So one day we were just hanging out, nice summer day. We're in the office and we start hearing some screaming, some get out of here's, some hey fuck yous, that kind of stuff. So we poke our head out. And there's this disheveled kind of dude. Not really sure what his deal was. I kind of think he was a homeless guy. But he's essentially yelling at the radiator guys, the upholstery guys in the background. They're all kind of like, hey, man, get out of here. We don't have anything for you. He's cursing at them. He's like, we don't have money for you. So I'm assuming they were asking for money. My buddy sticks his head out. He's like, you should really listen to them. Get out of here, man. And the guy all of a sudden turned and locked on us. And my buddy was kind of outside. I was kind of still in the office. And just to kind of step it back a little bit, a week or two prior, my buddy's father was out there, also an entrepreneur. We're talking business, that kind of thing. And he also kind of helped to set it up. And kind of just randomly, he mentioned to us how he's like, hey, you guys are a public business. You guys are working with random people. You guys should really have some sort of protection. And we're like, protection? Like we're young guys at the time, like what protection for what? He's like, you guys should have some mace, a baseball bat, something, in case something happens, just a deterrent or, just in case something does happen, you guys, you'd be happy to have some. So I don't remember, we were at the Walmart, I think later on that week, and I picked up some pepper spray. I think like a 2-pack, me and him both threw it in the desk, never thought about it. Well, this day happened, right? All of a sudden now we're facing this homeless guy. My buddy's like, hey, man, you should really get out of here, this kind of thing. We're all trying to get this guy to get out of here. And we weren't sure what was going on. But I remembered the mace, went back to the desk, grabbed the mace, came back out. And then I kind of jumped into the squaring up with the guy, I guess, like the rest of them. And was kind of like, hey, man, you should really get the fuck out of here. Or else I'm going to mace you. I'm going to pepper spray you, man. You got to get out of here. And he cursed back at me, blah, blah, blah. And then I popped the little button off of this guy open, which I'll show you here. And he was just like, nah, man, okay, fuck you. But then he started walking off. So I popped this little guy right here. When he saw me do that, he started walking off, cursing, and we were like, okay, don't worry about it. Well, deterred him, right? It was great. We never saw the guy again. So worked awesome just for that kind of instance there. The other instance. So another story, kind of story time, a little bit about where I am. I live in near Washington, D.C., the DMV as we call it. And as I mentioned, I have an automotive background, and during college I was working at Advanced Auto Parts. And I was working in Virginia Beach. I was going to school in Virginia Beach at Old Dominion University, but my parents and where I grew up was Washington, D.C., DMV. So I was down. It's a nice summer day in Virginia Beach. We're at the Advanced Auto, business as usual, clients coming in. We're doing all the part stuff, that kind of thing. Nice summer day. I'm coming from the back of the parts store, grabbing some parts from somebody, where I noticed some commotion outside of the store. So we have one of these stores with big windows. You see the parking lot. And there's all this commotion. Some people running in, some people kind of running away, some people kind of watching. And I come up to the window and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Come up to the window. And as I'm coming up to the window, my one of my buddies that worked there, Lewis, comes dodging in. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And then I realize there was like a fight. So between two cars, there's a girl on the ground, and there's a guy and another girl beating on this girl. And they're just wailing on her. And I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if they're robbing her or what was up. But then Lewis comes running back, and he's outside. I'm kind of seeing this from the inside of the store, and he's outside. And he just pulls out a can of May spray, and he says, "Hey guys, you guys better stop doing that, or I'm gonna pepper spray you guys." And they just keep going at it and keep going at it. Lewis just lets them have it. All three of them just starts dousing them. He's like, "You guys got to stop. You guys have to stop." Blah blah blah. The couple that were beating on the girl dart out of there. They go running out of there. The girl comes running in the store with Lewis. We start questioning. We start asking her if she's okay, that kind of thing. Start trying to figure out what happened. Were they robbing you? What was going on? Well, come to find out that the girl also was from the DMV area, and was running away from these people, trying to get away from these people. And she had drove all the way down to Virginia Beach, which is, if you don't know, it's about 3 hours. And if you get bad traffic, double that. But so they followed her all the way from Washington, D.C. down to Virginia Beach, 3 hours. And she said that she thought she had lost them. I guess she hadn't. And then she came into the store to get something that she needed for her car. They, saw her go into the store and everything and ambushed her. And then got off. But if it wasn't for Lewis with the pepper spray, she probably would have gotten beat. She got hit pretty good, but no broken bones, no missing teeth or anything, just a couple bruises. I think like a bloody nose kind of situation. But if it wasn't Lewis with the pepper spray, who knows? What might have happened to her. So a great instance of why it was just good deterrent. And at the end, nothing happened. Like the cops didn't get called, that kind of thing. But it was a great deterrent to get those folks off of that poor girl. By the way, guys, I do EDC videos and talk about kind of, multi-tools and things like this. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. So please hit the subscribe. And on to my last story. So this one is the story of when my buddy wished he had some. So same buddy that I was working with in the automotive dealership. We were back in Virginia. He was on the Old Dominion Trail, which is a pretty popular trail out here. And it's like the suburbs kind of deal with, some wood pockets here and there, that kind of situation. And he's a pretty big guy. He's like about 6'4", 240, 260, depending on the season, that kind of thing. And he's on this trail in the morning, jogging with headphones on. And as he's jogging, he gets shoved and he feels like a terrible cut pain on his back, and he goes to the ground. And he turns over. He doesn't know what's going on. He turns over and he thought he got maybe hit by a bike or something, but then he turned over and he realized there was like an animal on top of him. So this animal then pounces on top of him. He's sitting on his back, kind of fighting this thing off. He didn't know what it was at first. He thought it was maybe a dog, and then he kind of realized it was some sort of cat. It was at the end, they think it was a bobcat, some sort of bobcat just roaming around, and saw him running, stalked him, and then got him. He was able to get up and throw the cat off of him. The cat got startled and then ran off. And my buddy, ended up with a couple stitches on his arm, that kind of thing. Had a bunch of different scratches. Had to take some pills, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of scary, but he was okay at that. No big deal, I guess, or, thank God that happened. But we were chatting afterwards, and my buddy is a firearms owner, carries, he has a concealed carry permit, that kind of thing, big gun guy, big handgun guy especially. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, do you wish that you had your gun? And he's like, you know, not really, man, because he was like, since I didn't really know what it was, I wouldn't have been able to take a shot, you know, because you're not going to shoot something you can't see, especially not in a kind of suburby, you know, public trail kind of situation. And he's not that type of guy, I guess, you know. I mean, he's not going to just wildly start shooting at things, and neither would I. And he said that he wished he had mace. He wished he had a pepper spray. That's what he wished he had, because he said even though he probably would have dosed himself with the pepper spray, he probably would have been able to fight off the cat a lot sooner. He thinks maybe he would have been able to take it out of his pocket when he was on his back and spray the whole situation, and then disperse the cat. But he didn't have any, so he ended up having to fight it off. And thank God he was big enough to kind of take most of the grunt to scare that animal. But yeah, ever since then, he says he carries mace, on a regular, leaves it in the truck, and then when he goes on a hike and goes out in the woods, he carries it with his pistol. I don't think he hikes with a pistol. I think he's just hiking with pepper spray these days. But that's the reason why I think those are the three reasons why I carry pepper spray and why I think everyone should readily have it. Uh, but why don't we take a look at some of the stuff that they sent us? So they sent us the two, probably their flagship kind of products here. Just the palm pepper spray. This is the clip. Kind of has a nice little pocket clip here that you kind of carry it as you would as a pocket knife. And then this one I think is called the key. So you can hook it up to a keychain, maybe a little lanyard situation here. I believe this. I think this doesn't snap. I think it does. I don't want to snap it, but yeah, it does. So that I can feel it right there. I don't want to snap it because it looks like, if I do want to use it, I don't want it to snap. This is a practice, which I think everyone should get, and I'll kind of get into that. And this right here is their MK3. So this is kind of more of like a police edition, has a little bit more range, a little bit bigger spray. This is probably what I'll be taking hiking and probably just have it around and then kind of put these guys up in the car. But who do I think this is for? I really do think everyone should carry some sort of pepper spray. Palm's one of the best ones out there. I'm super glad that they reached out. I mean, it's kind of cool. They sponsor ASP. If it's good enough for ASP, the ASP channel, then it's good enough for me. I've never been hit with pepper spray. When mine expires, I usually get another can, so I'm glad that they sent it. I think ideally, though, if you've never had it, I've had a couple kits like this before, so I know the experience or what it's like, at least with the practice sprays. And that's what I think, if you are going to pick something up like this is the ideal kind of combo to pick up, is probably one of these with a practice spray. If you're obviously if you're used to this stuff, then go, by all means, you'll know what kind of spray that you're going to get. But if not, if you're a novice or you've never used this stuff, I'd highly suggest getting a combo like this, where you can give it a quick practice so you know what's gonna happen when you use something like this. I've never been sprayed with palm, so I can't tell you. I can't attest to the pain or what it will do. But I know that if it is good enough for ASP, it is good enough for me. Guys, I'm Bernardo with Fat Bear DC. If you guys like my video, please hit me up with a like, and I will catch you in the next one.